Hi everyone, this is Ashley and welcome to TechviCast, our podcast series where we have the chance to connect with the business leaders, founders, tech leaders, and innovators in the field and to hear about their story about where AI is going, what actually is working, what is not working right now, and what is the trade-off. And for today's episode, we are very happy to have 𝗂𝗂𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗂, a product leader in fintech with nearly 20 years of experience across different markets and product environments. So she's been worked across traditional finance and fintech startup, building products from different stages. And I'm really looking forward to have her perspective on how AI is actually being used in fintech. Okay, welcome Monica to our podcast. And can you give our audience a little bit introduction about yourself?
Hi, Ashley. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure
Yeah.
to be here. So a little bit about me. I don't like starting with I do this for work. I like
Yes.
saying I am a very passionate individual, full
Okay,
of energy.
perfect.
So that's me. It's like ball of energy and fire. So when it comes to work, I think
Yeah.
I split my career in two stages, 10 years
Mm,
in corporate, always in financial services, and
yeah.
then roughly 10 years in startups. So I was fortunate that I was in London when one
Mm,
of the very first challenger banks came up,
yeah.
roughly 2015. So I was part of the founding the first product hire in the team.
Yeah.
So I got to build the bank
Perfect.
from scratch and learn a ton from the founders. I then got a phone call and then I had the opportunity to move to Malaysia. And it's been almost 9 years since I moved to help start another neobank
Yeah.
here from scratch. And I've seen it grow from pre-launch to all the stages of development
Yeah.
till now, 9 years after,
Yeah.
multiple products, multiple geographies. I also have a podcast and write on LinkedIn. So, and I have an
Okay,
AI
perfect.
community. So,
Okay, perfect, perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much for the introduction. So, what an amazing journey. So, I see that your journey is not in one country, but actually it's across continents and different markets and different sides of business as well. So I see that I also watching your journey. I think that is from like Mexico, very like bustling like street, and also to Asia market to Malaysia. So with your perspective, so how have been like the fintech product involved over the year? And I also watched one of your episode like when you mentioned that when banking is broken and also no transparency and also the money threats. So I think this is the booming time for the fintech product. Some of the name like open finance, banking as a service, or the embedded finance. So what will be the major shift in the product that you can see in the fintech, especially around the AI revolution?
yes, to tell you about the future of fintech, I need to go back a little bit, right? So,
Okay.
around 2014, 15, the fintechs as we know them today got started
Yeah.
in the UK, in the US. You have Wise, you have Tandem, you have Revolut.
Yeah.
I was part of that cohort. And the hypothesis we had back then, it was banking is broken.
Yeah.
People have a ton of financial stress. We're going to help them, starting with better user experience. So that's how
Mm,
we started. We were the challenger banks to the status quo.
yeah.
But of course, over the time, the banks also stepped up, and now not all of the banks across the world, but many of them have beautiful user experience and have digitized and gone into a more fair and transparent journey as such. So we've been in a 10-year journey doing that, but
Mm,
now the industry has changed a lot. I
yeah.
think you mentioned three keywords. One is embedded finance.
Yep.
The other one, of course, is open finance,
Yep. Open
and the
finance.
other one is AI.
Yeah.
So those technologies and those terms developed in these past 10 years. But the beauty about it now is that we've matured as an industry. So
Yep.
we know how to build banks from scratch. We know how to build fintechs. The regulator is on board. Back then, we
Mm,
had to convince them. Now the regulators are on board. The banks are on board. Fintechs are on board. And we have all this new capability. So I think the future of fintech is how do we create AI native experiences that drive value to the business. And it's going to be complex because we need to change the how we work, how we think, our infrastructure across all the touch points of any financial institution and within the ecosystem. The ecosystem is very complex, so everyone will have to go through that transformation. So to me, it's very exciting.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. I got the keyword here, like AI native in every single touch point when you are in the customer journey. Yeah. And looking back to your journey a little bit, I see that you're in different phases of the product and also the fintech evolution. And I think that you've been through like manual process to the today that we have AI in place. So, and there will be a lot of like a lot of like debates around AI adoption here. So from your viewpoint, what would be the place where AI are contributing the real value, especially in the fintech product?
Oh, I think if I were to summarize, there's two key points. One is it will change ways of working, because now the roles and responsibilities across different disciplines are getting blurred. Everybody's becoming a builder. So not only it will change ways of working and processes, but it will also change the speed at which we work and the accountability, like who's responsible if something happens with fraud in agentic payments. So all that ways of working, processes, governance, it's going to change. And if we're smart as an industry, we have the ability to not digitize what we have, but to go back and say, how do we start from scratch if it's AI native and just do it? So that's one. We can become super nimble organizations, nimble and fast. And the other one is driven by customer expectations and powered by tech. Customer expectations are changing. That's it. We're not going back. Everybody is used to using AI, and the how we want to bank and manage our money is going to be totally different. We won't, as consumers, I won't have the desire to go to the bank. I'll just want to grab my phone and speak to the machine and for the machine to do everything for me. But it's not as easy as that. So I think that's the how do we reinvent the how we provide service to customers to solve their needs, because then it's not only the experience, but we will have all this data. Like we said, open banking and embedded finance, it allows us to place financial services at the right time in the right context for that customer. And with that data, we'll be able to offer a solution specific to Monica as a customer and to Ashley as a customer.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Yeah, so you mentioned a lot about the customer experience, but when we talk about AI, so there's also one keyword I heard a lot. So it's about shorten time, especially time to the market. And I see that you've been to that journey already. And like it's a long journey to build a fintech product. I can see it can be like from 0 to 1, grow at all cost, or eventually sustainable profitability. Is a very long journey, and sometimes it can take like up to 10 years. Yeah. So when AI comes in to help, so do you really see that it can shorten the time for you to go to the market? And what would be the exact phases or the period that AI can help to you to contribute to that one? Like, can it be around like product development phase, or is it about like customer engagement phase, or what else?
100% yes. It will make building product super easy. So for example, I am vibe coding as well. I'm building my app just to learn how to build apps. I am a non-coder. I'm not a software engineer. And then I was able to build a well-being fitness app 5 minutes a day in 5 days.
I saw that on LinkedIn.
Amazing. So for people who are not in the product world, that sounds like, oh, that is cool. For me, that I've been doing this for many years, the first time I used it, I was like, oh my God, do you know how many months it could have taken us to build that on its own from scratch? It's like it could have
Oh,
been weeks or months, and then we just compress that time to days.
days and even
So
hours. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So it's like given the innovation, or let's say the prototype, it may no working solution, but maybe not
Mm,
production grade for a bank, we'll be able
yeah.
to do that super, super fast. Hence, we can get feedback from customers super fast. My hypothesis is that now, instead of doing user research with customers
Yeah.
and then showing them prototypes and screens, we would co-create with customers. We would run
Mm,
workshops, innovation workshops with customers, and we'll code it real time, and then they will give us feedback. And then within the end of the day, we could have built a solution validated by customers, co-created with customers, because then we can have like multiple machines if we want it, and then it's like run the economics on one side, run the
mm,
user experience on the other one. Like it can become like so
yeah.
powerful that it's exciting.
Oh, I see. I see. Yeah. So I think that AI is bringing a lot of benefits and advantages in compare with the old day when we developed the product, especially the product in the fintech. But when I also work with the clients in the fintech and also in some of the project with the banks, I also see one of the biggest challenges they often face in AI adoption will be how to handle with the legacy system, because some of the banks, like even for the fintech product company, they have the fintech product which
Yeah.
is very fast and very like very fresh. Yeah, but actually they provide the service to the bank, so they also need to handle which is like 20 or 30 years of the legacy system. So from your viewpoint, so do you see that legacy system like shaped or constrained about AI adoption in the fintech field?
Of course they are. Like legacy systems. Okay, so founders
Mm,
will have to make a decision, and therefore legacy systems will update themselves. Otherwise, they
yeah.
become obsolete. As a founder, I'll have to say, okay, which technology am I going to use?
Mm,
Existing technology, AI-enabled technology, or old technology? No one is going to go for legacy old technology. And the other alternative that they will have is, why pay so much for that
mm,
if it's not core functionality,
mm,
for core, maybe you continue to pay, but for non-core functionality, you can build it. And then you can get even not the tech team to build it. You can get the other teams that are the experts
mm,
to build it with the help of tech, a little bit with the
yeah.
guidance of tech. So basically, founders will be having so many alternatives on what to
Yeah.
build, that legacy tech banking companies must reinvent themselves and be
Mm,
able to offer that technology. So I think that's a bigger challenge. It's the how do we reinvent legacy tech rather than how do we build fintechs or AI native. It's always easier to build from scratch or relatively new than to
mm,
redo a monolithic, huge tech monster. But I
yeah.
think that's a very interesting challenge. And I'm sure they have amazing people that will figure it out, and the board is already talking about it.
Yeah. So you see that when they do with the legacy system, so do you think that for the banks or fintech providers across the region, I think that in Asia Pacific is a very vibrant market for BFSI sector. So do you see that this is already handled quite well, or is it still a long way to go for them?
No, I think we are at the very, very beginning. It's like infancy stage,
Mm,
especially like I I am global, right? It's like from Mexico, lived in the UK, lived in Asia, and my
mm,
network is global. I'm really connected to the product community
yeah.
industry in the US as well. So I can really see my industry peers in the US. They
Mm,
are way advanced. Then we have my industry peers in the UK, obviously the ones working in AI, they are
yeah.
super advanced. Then kind of the mass market. But I think in Southeast Asia, we still have way more to go. So we need to level
Mm,
up a little bit.
Yeah.
Latin America, I know many fintechs that are already very, very advanced on the AI side.
Mm,
Having said that, I think Asia has an amazing opportunity because Asia, like we are innovators over here. It's just a matter of we haven't gone as fast as we could have had. Now it's time
yeah.
to sprint. And technology changed so much in the past 3 months that
Yeah.
it's like now it's like, okay, cool, we're ready to go. And financial institutions, I'm assuming, will take advantage of that. It's just a matter
Mm.
of allocating the priority. And again, the boards are doing that. So
Yeah. So like what you say. So I think that I totally agree with you about the speed and also the pace that different countries they are dealing with that one. I think that for US or the Europe, especially some coming from very like high developed country. So actually they already move ahead a lot with the fintech development and also with the AI adoption. But I also have the belief that in Southeast Asia, because this is the right time for Asia and also for Southeast Asia to go up and catch up with that pace very soon. Yeah,
yes,
because you see that I did the research about the fintech field in Singapore. I think that there are around like 700 fintech companies in Singapore only. I think that this is a very amazing number. That is very vibrant market. That the companies or the market from the US for Europe, they need to be very aware of that one.
I
Yeah,
think so. I think Europe and the US are looking at Asia.
yeah, definitely. Because the population, also the market, the user, I think
Everything.
that these are the point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a young population, huge population,
Mm,
no resistance to change. On the contrary, Asia
yeah.
is very, we want to adopt technology
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, exactly. But there will be one thing that I often see in the fintech or in the BFSI sector, especially when you are talking about like the high value financial products, like wealth management. So normally customer would expect very high touch and personalized experience. So do you see that sometimes AI can be the double-edged sword? So especially when incorrect information can impact about the customer experience. So let's say I ask the AI chatbot in the bank and or in my mobile phone. So the AI chatbot, it can be integrated with different database under the bank and also have my information. So I expect that it can give me the correct information about what should I do, what should I invest, but eventually it come up with the incorrect information. And I also make the payment or make the investment based on that one. So is it sometime that AI, you see that you still have the hype more than it can really bring the customer experience in that field?
Yeah, I think this is where we need to be very conscious of how we use
Mm,
technology because I don't think AI is going to replace financial advice in the next 3 years. I don't know in
three
5 or
years.
10, but in the next
Mm,
2 to 3 years, we will need a human. Because of that, we need to build the bridge between the human experience and wanting financial
mm,
advice and building that trust to our own trust as financial institutions and regulators and product people, compliance people to say the solution that we're putting out there can replace a human. But I think at the moment it cannot. So
cannot.
for the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to be a hybrid model where, yeah, AI and technology will help us visualize better, give more informed decisions, but it will,
Mm,
my guess is it will not replace financial
mm.
advisors.
Yeah. So I want to share a little bit about the experience we are having when we implement AI projects for the fintech client. So let's say we have a wealth management platform company. So they want to implement the AI agent to help provide better insights and the knowledge for the user when they want to make the trading decision. So from the beginning, there will be two questions that we need to answer. The first one, who or which department should we apply the AI here, or the use cases? And the second one, who would be responsible for the AI training part? So for the first one, so from the beginning, the client, they think that they want to apply AI to provide the answer and the insight for the end user, just like me. Yeah, but actually after some time, so the client they decided again. So they want to provide the insight, the AI agent to integrate with different platform of the system or the database under their ecosystem to have the financial advisor. So the financial advisor, they have the expertise and also they have the knowledge so that they can understand and also they can extract the insight from different sources from the information provided by AI. And eventually they will provide better advices to the end user like me. Yeah, so this is the first thing. And the second thing, who would be responsible for training the AI? So in this case, in compare from two stakeholders, we have end customer and also the internal financial advisor from the company. So definitely the financial advisor from the company, they will have the expertise and they will be the one to train the AI so that it can perform and also learn from the experience and also with the human-led training in this one. So actually in this one, we call like control-based knowledge. So we let the knowledge and the expert knowledge to train the AI so that AI can perform better and it can create the better return on investment.
I'm
Yeah.
100% agreement with you. Yes.
Yeah. And I think that, as you say, maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, yeah, so we also need to be very careful in the AI use case when we want to adopt within like in the fintech field. Because sometimes it can be very good, but sometimes there will be some of the responsibility, especially for that one. This is also the part we need to be very, very careful.
Yes.
Very careful about that one.
Yeah,
So
it's people's money. It's we are responsible for people's savings and livelihood. So we
yes.
must take this very, very seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Because later on, so who will be responsible for the incorrect information or the incorrect management, management decision? It's all related to money. Yeah, and sometimes I read some news. So actually, it's also impact a lot. And sometimes the company they need to bear the cost, and it's not like cheap at all. Sometimes it's very expensive decision that the company need to make. Yeah. Okay. So I think that we've been talking a lot about like where AI is adding real value and also some of the real impact. So I want to talk about the risk, regulation, and also the trade-off here, because I think that this is the part we want to hear the most. Yeah. So especially recent days, we also see like Singapore's IMDA also introduced the model AI governance framework for agentic AI. So recommending like limits on how many tools or system an AI agent can access. So Vietnam, we also have like announced the new AI regulations one. So beyond what's really being discussed, so do you see any of the main regulatory risk or challenges that you think product leaders should be aware when building the AI products?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. And I think every market needs to ensure that they are aware of their local regulation. That's number one, right? Because especially Southeast Asia, even though we are very similar, it's similar but different.
Yeah, similar but
and
different.
every market has its own specificities. But as product and innovation teams, I think what we need to do is to work closely with our legal and compliance teams and with the regulator. So instead of saying, hey, we take this as gospel, this regulation as gospel, it's more of a we think about what is it that we would like to do. That's the starting point, right? We think about the customer outcomes, and then we think about how we're going to get there.
Yeah.
Who are these agents? What they are for? What's the specific job to be done for each of the agents and how they fit in the ecosystem? So I think it's kind of going back to first principles and understanding systems. It's kind of a system design. And as part of that, we overlay the regulator and all the guidelines that we need to do. It's not and this is just my view, is not about taking the regulation and then just doing a checklist. It's more about thinking deeply with the guidance of the regulation on how we can have better outcomes both for customers and for the company in a secure, less risky manner. And I think as we do all of these, it's not product, tech, and compliance. We need to bring in operations team because they understand all this detail of how the bank works on a day-to-day. We need to bring the risk director, the risk committee, because there is going to be a lot of risks as we go deeper, as usual in product. As you go deeper, then you have to go deeper. There's many things that come up. So it's going to be an opportunity for all disciplines and parties to work well together. So that then we can design together rather than in silos. And I think that's the key. Work in a collaborative way rather than you said that, I want that, it's risky, that's my outcome. No, we come together and we build based on outcomes.
Yeah. So if AI, let's go back to the part when we talk about the accountability and responsibility. So we have the regulations, the government, and also the authority to manage the financial sector. We also have the tech provider. We also have the company when they operating the financial products. So let's say if we are involving AI in different parts when we build the product and when also we deliver the service to the end user. So if something goes wrong, this is what we don't expect. But sometimes if something goes wrong, so who do you think, or which part do you think will be accountable for that one?
Okay, many things will go wrong because things always go wrong. Anyone who works in tech knows that. Like things will go wrong. So I think there's elements of, as part of the design of the solution, we need to think of what's going to go wrong. We need to think of the 𝗓𝗂𝗔 matrix. We need to think of risk management, not as a gate to pass in a committee and then to the board, but risk management as part of the design of this transformation or this product design as such that depending, it's very use case specific. Depending on the use case, we identify who's going to be responsible for what. And coming back to the regulator, in the UK, there's, I'm not the expert, but in the UK, there's this law or regulation called DORA. And then basically DORA is talking about resilience. And as part of that, it is, I'm paraphrasing, but basically the bank or the financial institution, we need to ensure that our tech partners, they also comply with certain guidelines as such. So it's not just the bank that's going to be audited, but it's like the bank and all the partners of the bank until a certain capacity. So I think when it comes to building this accountability matrix and this risk management framework for all these workflows, processes, policies, and product design, it should not stop at a bank level or at a neobank level, fintech level. It needs to go one or two or even three, that's three is too much, but at least one or two layers back where our partners, tech partners, because a bank, a fintech, a neobank has many technology partners. We need to work with them as well. It's like I said, it's not in isolation. It's a collaborative development. And I think that way we can minimize the risk. But there needs to be willingness to do it together.
Yeah. So I think that a lot of stakeholders within the fintech circle, they also need to bear some of the accountability and responsibility when they involve in that one, especially when they want to adopt with AI into that. Yeah.
And that's a very good point. So at a senior level, at a C level, the executives, let's say that so far we've been measured on results,
Mm,
and we are accountable for our department and our areas, but at the end of the day, it's just like humans doing this.
yeah.
In the near future, we should be responsible and accountable for what our agentic organizations are doing and the impact of the agentic organization in customers'
Mm,
outcomes and company outcomes and all the
mm,
risks that are going to come up. So it's not because risks are going to materialize. So
yeah.
it's more of did we have the right governance process? Did we
Mm,
go
mm,
through like even like almost like a mini audit
yeah.
before we go dive? Like, I think governance is important without exaggerating, of course, but a healthy relationship. But
Yeah.
the role of executives is going to
Mm,
change a lot, especially when it comes to accountability.
mm, yeah. Not only accountable for the human only, but eventually they also need to be accountable for the agent, the AI agent within the company, especially they want to move toward the agentic, AI agentic company.
Yes, and we should
Mm,
be responsible for the design,
mm,
the build, and then once we launch, for the whatever the agent did, the whole end to end. Somebody needs to be accountable for that.
mm,
Otherwise, we're just going to be sloppy, and we cannot afford to be sloppy. Hence,
mm,
all the C-levels, not just product, but like everyone in the
mm,
exco and the board, we
mm.
need to be accountable for how we are designing, building, and operating these agentic capabilities.
Yeah. Like I have some feeling that in the upcoming 2 to 3 years, so the enterprise and also like even for small or startup company will change a lot
Yes.
with the AI here. So I see that when AI can clearly help you to speed up the development and execution in the development part of the fintech product. So do you see what would be the key trade-off your team need to stay mindful when adopt AI in the fintech product here?
Yeah, I think the key question to think about is, why are we using AI and what for? Because we could be at risk of, like with any other technology, trying
Mm,
to use the technology just for the sake of using the technology. So it's not oh, let me use AI for everything. No,
mm,
it's we need, and that's when we need to make trade-offs.
mm,
We need to understand what is the right use case to
yes.
use AI such that it has the most impact from a customer and commercial perspective, and the
Mm,
delivery wise, it's feasible within the organization. Because also, any product team or product tech organization, we know our number one challenge is prioritization. We don't have enough resources, even though you have 5,000 people.
mm,
You will never have enough resources for everything that you want to do.
mm,
Hence, the trade-off is going to be, how are we going to allocate these
mm,
resources, and understanding the impact commercial
mm.
customer, it's going to be super important. That's the
Yeah.
number one.
Mm, mm, mm. So I really like one point that you mentioned is about priority of the part that you want to work with AI. But I see that there would be two angles when the company wants to adopt with AI. So let's say you mentioned about one perspective regarding to the customer experience. What would be the use case that can create better experience to the customer? But from my viewpoint, I also see one thing that AI can really help value, like, like with the internal AI adoption, especially when AI can come in and help with your, let's say, to the case that I mentioned about the financial advisor team. So this
Yeah.
is one case. So when you mentioned about the priority, so let's say you can have both, like internal AI adoption and also AI adoption for the customer. So how can you prioritize this one?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. That's my biggest challenge many times. So in many organizations, the product function looks after the product that goes out to the customer and
Mm,
the internal product. Internal product is what you are referring to as all the tools that everyone in the organization is using, so that then we can have gives better service to the company, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the CPO and the CEO and the CPO,
Yes.
they need to come together in the room with the CFO and say which one has the most impact. And this is going to be at an ad hoc basis, company by company, depending on their strategy and their financials. And basically, they will have to allocate the resource, tech, product, legal, all these resource into, let's say, buckets of products, or so that then the resource allocation matches the priorities of the company. They will have to put some things on hold, and then they will have to make the tough decisions of saying, this is a big bet, therefore we're going to allocate more resource here, and then we go full on. The mistake that we could do is the mistake that we can do is allocate resource too thinly across too many things, because then it's much more complex. One of the things that I've learned building product at different stages of startups and scale up is that when you build something new that the organization hasn't done before, it's way more complex than you thought it was. That's it. It's always more complex than you thought it was. And then you don't have the internal capabilities to do it. So we should not put ourselves that, oh, this is quote unquote easy. It's an easy use case. No, let's ensure that we have clear objectives, clear outcomes, therefore clear priorities, and then allocate accordingly. And yes, take into account that it may take a little bit longer because we need to build that capability and that knowledge. And it's a transformation process. Like our team members, they also need to learn how to work in this new way with AI.
Correct. Yeah. So I think that we talk a lot about all the things over there, but I also see one of very challenges for the company will be for the resource readiness and also the resource pool, especially when they work with the digital transformation or the AI project. You mentioned that you have your team, but actually their bandwidth is also stretched in different projects. So how can they prioritize to learn the new one and also to work in the new project to support you to deliver what you expect here? So I think that this is also the big concern here, especially when AI is new. So finding the talents working in the AI field is challenging. So I think that is also one thing that we need to consider as well.
100% agree. Like, we as an industry and we as leaders, we need to ensure that we train everyone from the intern to the CEO at different levels of how to use AI, the policies and the governance around AI, the risks of AI, the tools that you have to use, the capabilities that you need. We need to retrain the industry such that then we can do it. Because another alternative is, okay, maybe you want to go fast and then you hire a development house, but then as soon as they come in, they may train someone, they leave, and then you're back into, not having the capability. So I do believe we need to train from the inside, because people already have the knowledge of the company. We just need to do AI training, and what does that mean? Otherwise, all these will not work, because otherwise it's the blind leading the blind, and it won't work.
Exactly. So I think that I also believe in that part first. So if you want to do AI, so definitely there's going to be partner outside to help you to implement beautiful software, beautiful project for you. But actually from the company level, and also from the company as a whole, they need to have very clear plan, even for digital transformation or the AI adoption. So they need to buy in that plan first. And after that, when they have someone to help them to do implementation work, so all the things will work smoothly. Because I think that we also have a lot of cases when we work with a client. So I think that the AI adoption plan, like in different department and also from the company level, is really, really important when we work in this field. I totally agree. Yeah,
And I think it needs to come from the top. It's a board and
yeah,
CEO mandate. That's it.
exactly. Mm.
Because then everyone is aligned to that. Otherwise, it may so happen, but that's
So
just me.
yeah. So I think that otherwise, so different department or different PIC, they will have different plans with AI. So there might be some the overlapping projects within across different departments. It's also create the waste for the company. Yeah, and it also like having like the data is fragmented everywhere, also create a lot of technical debt for the company to handle. So I think that if some wrong movement with I think that it's cost you a lot. It's cost you a lot because with AI, you develop the product, you develop the software or the application, and when you use, the more you use, the more money you need to pay. So I think that every like wrong decision will cost you a lot of money.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's another thing. We need to be very
Mm.
conscious of the cost of
Of the
building AI.
costs. Correct. Yeah, very wonderful sharing. Yeah, so Monica, the last question here. So for product teams, like who are actively trying to incorporate AI into their product environment, so what would be the most practical advice would you give them?
I think it's focusing on understanding 3 lanes. Lane number 1 is ways of working that I referred to earlier. How does product engineering, data, design work together in an AI native way rather than how we've been doing today? Who's accountable for what? Lane number 2 is agents. We are used to being people's managers, stakeholder managers of people. We manage people organizations. Now, going forwards, from the intern to the CEO, everybody will have an agent. So we need to ensure that we are designing human and agent organizations and then define what they are for and how do we build them. And then the third lane is the how we do product development, let's say for mobile apps, as we know it today, is going to be different to product development to AI features as such.
Yep.
So if we were to stick with these 3 lanes and understanding those 3 aspects, then I think product teams, product and tech organizations can have like a framework to start thinking about all the questions that we've been talking about, including training.
Yeah, perfect. So thank you again for joining with us today. So I think that I really appreciate your sharing about AI in fintech and also in product development part. So thank you so much, and we hope to see you in person soon in Malaysia or in Singapore or in Vietnam. Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah, thank you.